This is David with the Paranormal Sessions podcast. It's been an interesting week after I had that episode where, evil was coming after my greatest weakness. Well, I started making changes, and I figured evil would eventually do something. Well, actually, it was the following night. So I'm laying in bed, I connect to the other side, and then I see this kind of like, it looked like fog. And then I see this huge, it almost looked kind of like a skeleton, but it had some flesh on it. But this entity had to be at least 15 feet tall. So of course, that corner of the ceiling, I think it's only like at 11 feet, and then it goes up, to whatever the height is. But, when I'm connecting, I'm on, at that time I'm on the other side. So I see this huge person, and the weird part is I could see that the hate in him, that I was working on my greatest weakness. And I can see he's yelling, but I don't hear anything. So I assume he's yelling on the other side, and I could see him being on the other side, but I guess when they scream or yell or threaten, they have to be on my side, because he's saying things and you could just see the hate in him. But I couldn't hear anything. I've never had that happen before, but I've never had anything on the other side trying to talk to me. I don't know if anyone's ever talked to me on the other side. I think it's only been on my side. But you could just see the anger and the hate, and so I was happy about that. I'm already working on that. So that was kind of unusual, to say the least. So the following day, I go down to the family room, and I was in some black trash bag. I was putting things I was going to donate to Goodwill, things that I haven't used in a long time. I figured at least let someone else take advantage of that. So as I'm walking towards the black bag, all of a sudden I see this movement. So this particular evil spirit must have been new, or they don't know how it works, but you're not supposed to be moving as I'm walking, because if they hadn't moved, they were blended directly into the bag. But as soon as they moved, I knew, of course, that was evil. And I thought, well, things might get a little bit worse. Well, then the following day, I'm in my bedroom, and I think I'm going in, get some socks out of the drawer or something. I can't remember exactly. But as I'm bending down, I see this white flash. And I don't know, for the people who might be new, anytime I see a white flash, that means there's something bad coming down, down the road. Sometimes it'll be the following day. Sometimes it'll be like a week. Sometimes I think the one time it took 2.5 weeks or something like that before something actually happened. So right now I haven't been seeing anything. I've seen little, flashes of evil, but that's expected. So tonight, I was going to go ahead and watch a movie, in this room. And I started thinking, I go, I always close my eyes and connect to the other side in the bedroom, but I want to see what's here. So I close my eyes and I start moving, slowly rotating around. So I get about almost 90 degrees, the other direction. And this evil spirit must have been attached to the ceiling, because when I look up at him, his head is upside down. So he's looking down and then I'm looking up. And I don't know why, I just never really thought about that much. I think I did it a few times where I would close my eyes and try to make a connection, but I think that's been a couple years, I think. But I just never really thought about it. I know they've messed with my, computers and things, but I thought, well, they mostly spend all their time in the bedroom, which is where 99% of all the activity comes or happens. But when I saw him up on the ceiling, I go, after I'm making some changes to eliminate these weaknesses and all that, that um, they're pretty upset. So now they're trying to see what else I'm trying to improve on. Of course, they don't want me to do that, or anyone um, to do that. And the last thing I was going to mention, and I was watching it was a YouTube video about Father Ripperger, who's he's one of the most renowned exorcists, and he was talking. I can't remember who he was talking to, but they said, why doesn't like evil, attack like billionaires or whatever who are rotten to the core, but they've made a lot of money. And the demon said to this Father Ripperger, goes, why would we go ahead and attack him? Because he might turn around and repent. But if he doesn't repent, then he goes to hell and they can torture him, to eternity. And I never really thought about that, but that makes sense. I mean, why would they attack someone and they might get the impression that, maybe I should change my ways and be a better person? And they don't want to take that chance, so they go ahead and they don't do anything to them. And then when they die, then of course they, torture them the rest of their lives. But I just never really thought about it that way, but it makes sense. I mean, they want to torture as many people as they can for eternity, and so why would they take a chance and attack them, and then they say, hey, maybe I should lead a better life? So I thought that was kind of interesting. And the one last thing, and I mentioned it several times, and I keep forgetting about it, but periodically I'm just going to start posting a photo of what I've seen in my bedroom. And the ones in the very beginning, they're, you're going to see like, flashes of a evil spirit, things like that, but it's nothing earth-shaking. But as time goes on, they'll get more, I wouldn't say they're more scary, but they're more, shows more evidence of evil in that room. So I think I'll do that maybe like next week sometime, maybe like on a Friday or something. But I have a lot of pictures, but they're not like earth-shaking. But I'm just, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just basically say, this is what I'm going to post tomorrow, and I'll kind of explain it, and then I'll show the picture the next day. I don't know, every time I was going to show something come up, or evil be coming at me, because of course they don't want any pictures being shown, because that's more evidence that that they do exist. So I'll do that next week. This first one's going to be really, I mean, it shows something, but it's like, at least to me, it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But for people who've never seen anything, it's going to show a flash of an evil spirit going into the back of an old computer monitor I had on that dresser, and that was the dresser where I had the portal. And then I screwed up and switched out the furniture, and then it's never happened again. Maybe it will, but after all this time, I have a feeling I'm not going to get another portal. I hope I do, because it was amazing when I saw that people were walking by the front of my bed, and they'd walk like halfway into the portal, and they'd be cut off at like around their waist, and then they would turn around and look, and the only thing that makes any explanation is the reason why they're looking back is now they're crossing over into heaven. Because if they're going into hell, they sure wouldn't, look back and say, oh, I missed this, I'm going into hell. But I have a feeling I'm never going to get that back, but maybe someday it'll pop up. I don't even know how I got it created in the first place, because it wasn't due to me, it just circumstances. But this video ran a bit longer than what I thought, but I appreciate everyone watching. Thanks.